if we were speaking to the egos and identities of people seemingly outside the WSS, we'd be saying, well, we want to help you increase your power, your status, your standing, your influence, or your money, or something, and that should be the reason you participate in the WSS. And if we don't bring you in or get you to be motivated by those things in order to walk in the door, that we won't have anybody that wants to walk in the door. We would suggest that if we're speaking from our souls to other people's souls, they're going to want to run in the door. The question is, if in the past, have we misapprehended this conversation in a fundamental way through our projections, expectations, prior experiences, and assessments and interpretations historically of the dynamics of people socially and relationally, and said, well, they're only going to want to participate if there's an exchange and transaction dynamic, or if we make it good for their souls, or we give them for their egos, or if we have some kind of feeding process to initially draw them in. Why not go right to the true optimal decision maker, the soul, in our conversation? If ego identities and personalities and their associated dynamics of feeding, controlling, hating, fearing, judging, wanting, needing, victim, perpetrator, rescuer dynamics, and hatred, if that's destroying our world, is that what we want to invite into the process of solving for ego and tribal process? If we invite the souls in and say to the souls, by the way, these ego identity dynamics are doing this and this and this and this, and we could choose differently as souls. How do you feel about that? Might their souls think about it and say, well, gosh, that sounds like a good thing, a good change to make. So this last item on the list, let's say the second item on the list, if the personality and the ego process, the taproot process and the tribal process are destroying the planet and the future of our children and all other species, by the way, which kind of count a lot. Have you ever heard of the expression washing your face with mud? Is that the dynamic of bringing the tribe and the ego process into the solution space as the mechanism of solution? Is that just washing our face with mud? So the last item on this list, the word good. What's good for the ego is often just it having what it wants, it feeling good about itself, it being in control and thus supposedly safe, the continuity of the dysfunctional past into the present now, and having dominance of status or influence on any and all situations, and or directing other people to do, other egos to do stuff. And that's the definition of good. And being able to remain in a judgmental vantage point towards others or an expectational vantage point towards others to try to affect their decisions and or to get them to jump through the ego's hoops. So the good is just having what the ego wants. And we would suggest that there are a lot higher forms of goodness than egos having what they want. So the common good is transcendent of all of that. The true common good, the optimized, refined, potential common good. And we can work towards that. And we can only work towards that if we're willing to discard all of these old definitions, dysfunctional definitions, non-sustainable definitions of good that people generally relate to and resonate with.